Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you once again with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. In this video today, I'm going to tell you how to start the Airbus A320 Neo by Inibuilds from the cold and dark state. This video is for the beginners, so that's why I will just try to keep things really simple and take you step by step through all the procedures. I will be doing a series of videos for this plane. The first video is this, in which I will tell you about the startup procedures, and then I will just upload a video for the autopilot, then descent management, ILS approach and landing, and then there are many other things that I will be just exploring for this plane and making videos and uploading them on my channel. So do subscribe to my channel and get the notifications so that every time when I upload a video, you get the notification. Let's begin this video by getting an introduction of the cockpit. If you're new to this plane, there are a few things that you want to know. This is the overhead panel, and it has got controls for the fuel, for the electrical systems, and then again for the lights and air conditioning. And then there are many other controls which are over here on the overhead panel. Then this is the FCU, which is the flight control unit. It has the functionality of the autopilot. So you control autopilot from this panel. You can set the speed, the heading, the altitude, and your vertical path. Then this is the EFIS. It is on the left hand side, and on the right hand side, EFIS is electronic flight instrument system. You can change the type of information you want to see on the navigation display by interacting with these two units. Now there are so many screens. This is the primary flight display, which is known as the PFD. Then this is the navigation display, which is known as the ND. And then you have two ECAM, the upper one and the lower one. It is electronic centralized aircraft monitor. It has information about the engine, the alert system, and the flight warning system. Then on the pedestal, you have two MCDUs, which is known as the multifunction control and display unit. It actually interacts with the flight management guidance system. Then you have the port for the communication. Now this is the port for the weather. And then you have your transponder over here. This is the lever for the speed brakes, and this is the lever for the flaps. Then you have parking brakes. Thrust levers are there, and plus with the help of this control, you actually set the pitch of the plane, whether to pitch up or down. So now let's do some preliminary pre-flight checks, and just make sure that the wipers are off. Obviously, you don't need them right now, because as soon as you turn on the batteries and get the external powers, the wipers will start running. So you don't want wipers. Then make sure that the thrust lever is in the idle position, and plus the speed brakes are disengaged and the flaps are fully retracted. You have the parking brake engaged. So there are a few things that you have to check even on your controller. Just make sure that everything is off, and plus the engine switches are off, and this control switch for the engine is also in the middle. And that's it. Now let's get some power in the plane and go through the pre-flight procedures. So this plane has got these buttons for the battery. So first of all, you have to get the battery, and then you can see that there is some life in the plane, because you need battery to run the systems and do some radio communication. Then you have external power already available. If this is not available, then there is an electronic flight bag, which is over here, and you can go to the electronic flight bag, go to the ground, and toggle GPU. So right now the GPU is connected with the plane, so that's why it says external power available. If the GPU was not connected, then you will connect it, and then you will get the external power. Now you have to press this button, because you cannot keep on running on the battery, because the batteries will just drain out. Just make sure battery 1 and battery 2 shows 28.4 volts. Otherwise, if you don't have the external powers, the batteries will drain. That's it. Then there is another control over here on the overhead panel, which is ADIRS. This is Air Data Initial Reference System. It is actually a system which gets the GPS coordinates, and the plane knows, or the flight management guidance system knows where the plane is. So it's for the GPS. You have to set it to nav. So let's set it to nav. And now your primary flight display and the navigation display will start working. There is this one setting in the tab. If I just take you through this setting, let me just get rid of it. You will see this is the iris alignment, and I've set it to instant. If you do it fast, I think maybe 2-3 minutes, and real it takes 7 minutes. So I always keep it at instant, but if you want to have some realism, then you can set it to real. Now, as we have power in the plane, so it's time to basically get the flight plan from SimBrief and then configure the MCDU for the flight. There is a detailed video on my channel in which I have told you how to make a flight plan. So if you're not really familiar with the flight planning procedure, I would recommend you to watch that video. The link is given in the description, because right now I will just go through this procedure of the startup, not going into the details of the electronic flight bag and the MCDU. So over here on the electronic flight bag, let's get the flight plan from SimBrief. And now we have the flight plan. You can do the ground services right now. You can toggle jetway, and you can toggle catering and luggage. You can open the door. Right now you can see the jetway is getting connected. Great. And plus you can just open the front cargo, and then you can get the luggage. If I just let's see. Yeah, the luggage is there now. So you have the luggage, and then you have the catering. It's not working, I don't know. Anyhow, just to give you an introduction. So that's how you do it. Then you have to get the payload information. You can get it from the SimBrief. And I will be carrying full passengers. The maximum capacity is 186, but right now it's 180. Then this is the maximum capacity for the cargo. And right now for this flight, it's 2,440 kilograms or 2.5 tons. And then you have fuel, which is 5 tons. That's it. You can even enter the zero fuel weight. Zero fuel weight is actually the weight of the plane without the fuel. So you can just enter a value, and it's advisable not to do it. Get it from SimBrief, because then you will get the right fuel calculations. Because obviously, if you're carrying more weight, you'll be needing more fuel. So that's why just stick to SimBrief. Now, once you press this button, apply load, it will ask you whether you want instant, fast, or realistic. So I'll go with the instant, just to save time. Now this is the live gross weight of the plane, which is 65 tons or 65,262 kilograms. The dry weight without the fuel, without the passengers, it's 42,500 kilograms, and the maximum weight is given. Now the zero fuel weight and the fuel weight, they actually combine and make the live gross weight. That's it. And then you have to get the takeoff information for the takeoff performance calculation. So conditions, just sync them. And for this flight, I will be using runway 27 right. And the weight, let's get it from here. It's 65,262. So I can just enter 65,262. That's it. And the air conditioning will be on. Anti-ice is off. Force toga off. And then I will calculate. There is one thing I would just like to mention, that if you don't know how to connect this tab or the electronic flight bag with your SimBrief account, you can go to this settings and you can get your pilot ID from SimBrief, and you can just enter it over here. Now it's time to configure the MCDU. So let's go over here, and let me just get a comfortable view for the MCDU, and let's configure the MCDU. So first of all, I will go with the initialization and init request. There is a procedure that has to be followed in order to configure the MCDU, which is known as diff strip. This is data, initialization, flight plan, secondary flight plan, then RadNav, initialization B, and performance. So this is the flow that you have to go through. And just get rid of all these errors by pressing clear. Okay, now you have the flight information. Cost index is 80, cruising altitude is 350. For the iris initialization, you can see this is there. If the iris initialization is not complete, then you will see this option over here, align on ref. You have to press this. But as it was instant, that's why this is not shown over here. Then you have the wind information. This is for the climb. and this is for the descent. Go to previous phase. If you want to request wind information, you can press this option and it's there. Now it's time for the flight plan. So let's go to the flight plan and select the departure. The departure is 27 right, and DET 2F. This is the SID that I will be using for this flight. Insert, and for the arrival, I will be landing on runway 7 right. Just looking at the flight plan, ILS 7 right, and Unok 5R. This is going to be the star, standard terminal arrival. Insert, and let's look for a flight discontinuity. If it's there, let's delete it. Now secondary flight plan, I can copy the secondary, the active flight plan on to the secondary flight plan, and if I want to make any changes to the secondary flight plan, I can just make it over here, and then I can make it the active flight plan. Now for the RadNav, already the VR frequencies for the Heathrow Airport are given, and in case of GPS failure, I can just track VOR. I will be doing a video for this plane in order to tell you how to do VOR navigation with Airbus A320. Plus, I also have a video on my channel regarding the VOR navigation, and I've used Cessna 152 and 172 for this. So if you are interested in VOR navigation, you can just go and watch those videos. I will also give you the link in the description. Then right now the ILS frequency for Heathrow is not coming for Frankfurt, but as soon as I think I'm there, this will also start appearing over here. Then it's time for the initialization B. Let's go over here, get the zero fuel weight, get the block fuel, and that's it. It will do all the things. That's it. And now it's time for the performance. So let's go to the tab, and over here for the takeoff, just send this to FMGS, which is Flight Management Guidance System, and now confirm to data. Just press this option and you have the takeoff data uplink. That's it. So these were the procedures that you had to do for the electronic flag bag and the MCDU. Now it's time to configure the EFIS and the FCU. Let's go through the pre-flight procedures. So first of all, you have to set the altimeter. What's the weather? So it is the QNH is 1026. So let's enter 1026 over here. And now you can see that the altimeter is getting adjusted. Then it's time to turn on the flight director. And flight director is actually, let me just clear this this thing, because right now I also have to adjust the altimeter over here, 1026. And that's it. Now you have to turn on the flight director. The flight director is needed for the autopilot, and now it's there. As soon as I've turned on the flight director, you will see all the speed information and the heading disappears, and everything goes into this option. You see these 3 dash and plus a circle. This is actually the manage mode. What will happen is this, that as soon as you take off and you turn on the autopilot, the plane will actually follow all the constraints related to speed and to the related to altitude, and plus your navigation. So it will just follow the flight path, the lateral one and the vertical one. So that's why the flight director is required. But you can always take it from the manage mode to the selected mode. 2 modes. Once I will be doing this autopilot tutorial, I will just tell you how to use the manage mode and the selected mode. So now it's in the selected mode, you can set the speed. Similarly for the heading, you can do this, and that's it. So flight director is there. Set the altitude. Let's set it to 10,000. And let's see if there is any constraint during the flight. So you also have to do some briefing regarding the departure. So this is the Heathrow, and this is Frankfurt. And 27 right is the runway. This is the right one. Let's get the charts. Departure for 27 right and DET. Let's change the orientation and just bring it over here. Yeah. So now this is the complete chart for the departure, and the one that I'm using is DET2F. So let's look for this. This is DET2F. So right after the takeoff, if I zoom in, heading of the runway is 269 degrees. You'll take a left turn, and then your heading is 136 degrees. Then you will, from here, Epsom, you will turn heading 091, and you will keep on flying in this direction. Till this point, there is a constraint for the altitude, which is 6,000 feet. So the plane will actually follow this. Interesting. So right now, I've set it to 10,000. If I'm now, it's in the selected mode, and as soon as you see the circle, it's in the manage mode. So now, if I want to climb using the selected mode, I can just keep 6,000 over here, and then after this point, then I can further climb. But for this flight, I will be using the manage mode, so that's why I can set it to 35,000, and then I will let the autopilot do all the working, because it's now in the manage mode. So during the takeoff, it will just go through all the constraints and will honor them. That was a nice one. Okay, so let's also adjust the altimeter over here and the secondary display 1026. Now, as you have done all the configurations, so it's now time to go to the before start procedures. So before start, make sure that the seatbelt signs are on, because now the fueling is done. If the fueling is not complete, you don't turn on the seatbelt signs, but if the fueling is complete, you can turn it on. And then no smoking sign, it's on, and arm the emergency exit lights, set it arm. Now, there are some certain lights that you have to turn on right now. I will just take you through all these lights. This is actually a strobe. A strobe is a white light that blinks, and it tells other planes in the night and plus in the morning that there is another plane in the air. So strobe has to be set to auto, because if you cannot turn it on right now. It's only required when you are on the runway, and after the takeoff, during the flight, it's required. After landing, it's required, and after landing on the runway, it's required. But as soon as the plane exits the runway, then the strobe is not required. So if you keep it auto, this Airbus A320 has got a very intelligent system. It knows which phase of flight you are in, and according to that, it keeps on turning on and off the strobe. Then there is a beacon light. You have to turn it on before you start the engine, because it alerts the crew that you're going to start the plane. So this beacon light can be found on the top and at the bottom of the plane. As you can see, this red light. It's required. And then you have the nav and the logo lights. Logo light is on the tail, and then on the wingtips, there are two lights, green and red. As you can see, this is green, and on the other wing, it will be red. Let me show you. So these lights are required. If any plane is looking at the red light, it knows this plane is going towards its left side. And if any plane sees a green light, it knows the plane is going towards the right side. So that's why the nav lights are required. Now you have the required lights for the startup. Just make sure that the cruise supply is on, the oxygen supply, and then the fuel pumps are on. The best thing about the Airbus cockpit is this, that if everything is good, all the buttons should be black. If there is any white light, just make sure you just press it and it's in the on state. And plus, now for the electric, generator 1, generator 2, it's related to engine. That's why it's showing fault, but as soon as I will turn on the engines, this will also disappear. And pack 1, pack 2, also for the air conditioning, as soon as the engines will start, this will also disappear. That's it. Now you have the fuel pumps. It's time to turn on the auxiliary power unit, because I will be disconnecting the ground power unit. So auxiliary power unit is required. Now you see the master switch, just turn it on, just wait for 3-4 seconds and then start. Now on the lower ECAM, you will see the APU, and just wait for it. It will just take some time and it will turn on. Now the flap is open. Bleed is, you can see, bleed is shown over here. This is basically a pressurized air used to start the engine. So as soon as the APU also starts, you have the APU bleed. So it's in PSI. You will know when to turn on the APU bleed as well. And plus the APU generator will provide electricity. This is the rotation and this is the exhaust gas temperature. When the APU is on and available, you will see avail over here on the screen. Now the APU is available. That's it. And if you go over here on the overhead panel, you will also see avail is coming. And just turn on the APU bleed. As I told you before, this is pressurized air required to basically turn on the engines. Now you can see pack 1 and pack 2 also gone as I've turned on the APU. So before this I said it will be turned on with the help of the engines. So kindly ignore that. So now pack 1 and pack 2 are on. And now it's time to disconnect the external power. It should get disconnected. I can just toggle it from here. So the GPU is disconnected. As you can see, toggle shocks and covers, they're also removed. I can toggle the jetway and this door will also close. I don't need this door. The GPU is really disconnected. Let's check. Yes, the GPU is no longer there. So it means it's disconnected. Now it's time to release the parking brakes and start the pushback. So I don't know, this thing has started happening in this simulator a lot. This mouse control is not really so good. People are actually complaining about it on my channel. And for the last 2 days, I'm just also having this issue. You can see, I don't know why this thing is happening. I even set the settings for the graphics as well. Anyhow, just release the parking brakes as I've got a controller, TCA, thrustmaster, throttle. So I will just turn off the parking brakes and then I will call for the pushback and aft. So now the pushback tug will move. Even now my mouse is inverted. Now it's okay. I don't know why this thing is happening. And plus, it gets stuck. And then you just have to move your mouse and then it moves. Kindly excuse me for that if it's getting a bit annoying. But I don't know. This issue is there. Now it's time to turn on the engine. So you see the switch. Just move it to ignition start. Just move it to right. And it's time to turn on engine 2. So now the engine 2 will start. Let's go out and have a look at it. I think it's time to stop the pushback. And just engage the parking brakes. That's it. This catering van is very near. Anyhow, I just saved it. So now engine 2 is getting started and you can see this information over here. Exhaust gas temperature is increasing and plus the rotation, N1, N2. Now, as I told you before, this is ECAM, electronic centralized aircraft monitor. You will see many things coming over here. Now let's start with this weather prediction system. It's off. So if I go here, I can turn it on by moving this switch. and now the weather prediction system is on, as you can see. Then you have to engage the ground spoilers. Ground spoilers are actually used in case of rejected takeoff. So if you want to stop, then they will come into action. So you have to arm the ground spoilers. And for the transponder, just move this, sorry, not the flap, just move this switch to on. The flap is already there. Let me just do it from my controller. Okay, that's it. So you have to set flaps to 1 plus F. As you can see, it's here in the takeoff configuration. So it has to be there. And then set the transponder over here to auto and move this to TARA, which is traffic avoidance. So this is also gone. Now let's turn on engine 1 as well, as engine 2 is now available. So I will also turn on engine 1. Now as you can see, engine 1 is also available, and that's it. So now you have both of the engines up and running. And if you just go over here into electrical systems, you will see that the power is coming from generator 1 and 2 from the engines, and plus you're also having power from the APU. So you can just right now just turn off the APU, because APU is not required during the flight. So I can turn off the APU, and I can turn off the APU bleed. Interestingly, now you have to do the flight control test. So I have my yoke. So just check the elevators, the ailerons, and plus the rudder. So first of all, let's turn left and then right. Elevators up and down, as you can see, working, and plus the rudders. Although I have changed the sensitivity setting for the rudder on my controller, I'm using the Airbus side stick. But still, as soon as I hold it, you can see these rudders are shaking. Anyhow, we can just ignore this. The flaps are down by 1 notch, and we have to set the trim. So for the trim setting, it's you have to pitch up 0.7. So right now it's 0. So pitch up 0.7. You can just move your mouse over here, and you can see up. So just move it 0.7. That's it. And now it's time to turn on the lights. But before this, this is something really good. And this is a very good example. Now you can see, as soon as I was configuring the plane for the taxi and plus the takeoff, the plane automatically knew that what kind of state this plane is in. So according to that, it has started to show me some warnings and some alerts as well. So right now, this is basically the takeoff configuration. It's telling me that the auto brake is not set to max. So if you look at this side of the plane, you will see auto brake set to max, because it's required in case you want to reject the takeoff for RTO, a rejected takeoff. So that's why it has to be set to max. Now everything is good. Parking brake is engaged. APU was available now, but now it's gone. And ignition, why it's coming? Because this switch, as you can see, it's in the ignition slash start mode. I have to just bring it to normal. So I will just move it to normal. And that's it. Ground spoilers are also active. So this gives you a very good indication. Takeoff configuration test. If I press this button, you can see takeoff configuration normal. So now everything is good. All you now have to do is just turn on the lights and do the taxi, and then take this plane up in the air. Now for the lights, this is actually the runway turn-off lights. They are actually on the left-hand side and right-hand side of the nose wheel. As you can see, these are the runway turn-off lights. You need these. And then you have the landing lights. You cannot turn them. You can turn them on right now. There's actually very interesting discussion on this. I asked actually one of the pilots whether to use these lights during the taxi and the takeoff in the night. Do you need them or you don't need them? What I got was this, that as per their airline, wherever that pilot was actually working, they said it's recommended to basically turn on all the lights, because once you have the lights, the plane lights are really bright, and even in the morning other planes can see this plane from the distance. So you have the wing lights, you have the landing lights, now they're on, and then you have the runway turn-off lights. So all the lights are now on. So you need these lights even during the morning. It's better to do it, make it a good practice. But mostly what I've seen over here in the flight simulation videos, people actually go for the taxi, and once they're on the runway, they turn it to take off. And that's what you can also do. So you have an option, as you can see. Only taxi light is there. Okay. That's it. So this video was related to starting this plane from the cold and dark state. Now I will be actually taxiing out, and I will be taking this plane on runway 27 left, and I will be doing this flight. And I would just like to end this video over here, but I will now continue and make the second part for this video, and then eventually I will combine all these 3 videos to make a complete tutorial for this plane. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comment section, or if you want to add anything to this video, the comment section is there for you. Thank you very much for watching this video. Have a nice day. Hope to see you soon.